Unmute yourself.
はい。
We are live now.
お待たせいたしました。皆さん、こんにちは。お時間いただきましてありがとうございます。今日はソレント大学の担当の方とコースリーダーの方にお越しいただいておりまして、特にフットボールなどにご興味のある方のためのお話をしていただこうと思います。はい。それでは一番最初にですね、フットボールのコースリーダーであるドクター・ウェーバーからお話をしていただこうと思います。Dr. Weber, could you please start your presentation?
Good morning, konnichiwa. I hope you're all well. Many thanks for joining us all this morning, or I say this morning here in the UK. So my name is Dr. David Webber. I'm the course leader of the BSc Honours degree in Football Studies here at Solent University. And I'd like this morning, just for a few minutes, just to talk through my degree. Now, I've got a presentation that I'd like to share with you. If I can just share my screen. Hopefully, you should be all able to see that. So it's certainly been a great weekend for Japanese sport. Naomi Osaka, of course, won the Australian Open, and local boy Taki Minamino scored again at the weekend for Southampton. I'm a Liverpool fan, so he's on loan from us at the moment. So it's good to see him on the score sheet, and hopefully he'll return to us in the summer full of confidence. And of course, the J League itself starts this weekend. So it's going to be really interesting to see if Kawasaki Frontale can retain their title. So obviously I'd love to be talking about sport more generally, but I want to talk a little bit this morning about the football studies degree itself that we run here at Solent. And so for somebody who has been playing football all his life, I'm incredibly privileged to be doing the job that I do and to teach football and to work with some really knowledgeable colleagues and students here at Solent. And I'd say if you're passionate about football too, if you want to study the game a little bit further and even enter into this global industry, then you should come and join us here at Solent. And I want to spend the next few minutes talking about what our degree looks like and some of the places that it can take you. So you can either take our degree for 3 or 4 years. The 4-year version of the degree, that includes a placement year. So you can gain some really practical experience working at a football-based organisation, such as a professional club. And we've got lots of links to be able to enable you to be able to do that. Or you can find your own club, and we'll support you in that. But across the 3 years of the taught degree, you will study, as you can see from my presentation here, 6 core areas, and they're coaching, performance analysis, football development, psychology, socio-cultural study of football, and underpinning all this are the research skills that we will help you to develop. So our dedicated and really highly experienced team of coaching staff will take you through the 3 phases of coaching, their foundation, youth development, and the professional phase. And here you'll have the opportunity to hone your coaching skills out at our Test Park facility, where we've got a number of floodlit grass and 3G pitches. And should you so wish, you can then apply that knowledge by working at a club to build up and develop your portfolio. And you'll also have a chance as well to gain your coaching qualifications, which you can then use all over the world. They're recognized by UEFA, FIFA, and various other confederations as well. So both technical and tactical performance analysis are areas of the game which are gaining increased prominence, and its performance analysis really is becoming central to our understanding of the game and the way in which we develop players and different styles of play. And more clubs right around the world are kind of seeking expertise in this area. So with us, you'll be able to use the latest software to grow and deepen your knowledge and experience of how we can improve player and team performance. Our football development staff will help you identify and explore the benefits of playing football and how this has different benefits for different groups within society. And you'll consider the different ways really in which the game is played within these various communities, some of the tools and some of the strategies for football development, the challenges that exist around participation, and how these might be overcome to enable more people to play football. Our psychology team will introduce you to the various cognitive aspects of football and the skills that are required to succeed mentally within the game itself. So from skill acquisition to principles of psychology and the way in which they underpin player performance, you'll again have an opportunity in your final year to apply your knowledge and understanding of psychology in a real world context. The fifth element of our degree is what we call the socio-cultural strand. And this really examines the social base of football itself as it's watched and it's played by billions of people around the world. So across up to 4 modules, we examine the history of football and its relationship to the world around us. We'll consider its finances, the different social formations of fans, and of course the different inequalities that continue to sadly persist within the game, and how different communities of players, coaches and fans are often excluded from the game, and how we might go about tackling these forms of discrimination. So as I mentioned a moment ago, all of these core areas, they're underpinned by a series of research and study skills modules. And these will really help you to produce your very best work with us. But in particular, a final year project where you will be able to pick a topic of your choice related to football and to study that in depth alongside one of our supervisors. So Solent really has been delivering football-based courses for more than 20 years. And so during that time, we've developed some extensive connections in the professional game with a number of clubs at the Premier League level, across the Football League. And we've also worked very closely with the Premier League itself, the Football Association in England. We've worked with German Bundesliga clubs, Major League Soccer in the United States. And I think it would be really great as well if we could to extend that and work with some clubs in Japan as well. So our graduates as well, so having studied with us, our graduates have gone on to work at a number of Premier League and Football League clubs, either as first team, academy and junior coaches. Some have gone into work in performance analysis, some have gone into talent recruitment and ID, and some have even gone on to work within the national team and gone on to work with national teams across the world and helping them to prepare for and compete in international tournaments. Others have gone into more business orientated roles, either helping to run clubs themselves or expand their commercial operations. And a number of our students have entered into marketing positions and jobs related to strategy and administration. Some students have gone in to work as football development officers, either for various clubs and national football associations, and others, of course, have just stayed in education. They've gone on to complete their masters, they've studied for their PhD, and they themselves have become academics in their own right. But of course, if after the 3 or 4 years with us, you decide, well, actually football really isn't for me, then don't worry, because although our degree is of course contextualized within football and the broader sports industry, it can also be used to secure graduate level employment beyond sport. And many of our graduates have used their degree to successfully enter fields such as teaching or banking. So I do hope that you are able to join us, whether it is this September coming or in the next few years. I'm delighted that we've had a number of students join us from Japan in the past. I've had the pleasure of having Monette in my classes, and I'm sure she'll be able to talk to you about what it's like to be a student at Solent University. Now, of course, I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have now. But if after this session's finished or you think of a question that you'd like me to answer, you're more than welcome to just get in touch with me directly at david.weber@solent.ac.uk. Alternatively, you can follow the football programme itself on Twitter. So it's at Solent Football. Or myself, I'm also on Twitter. My DMs are open, and you can drop me a line at Dr. Dave Weber. Arigato. Thank you very much for your time and all the best with your studies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Weber. では今からフットボールコースに関してのご質問を受け付けたいと思います。何か今のプレゼンを聞いてですね、聞いてみたいなということがありましたら、ぜひチャットボックスや YouTube の方でもメッセージを受け付けております。Dr. Weber, I've got some questions.
Yeah, of course.
まず1問目が、スポーツジャーナリズムコースに在学中にどのような仕事のチャンスがありますか？パートタイムの仕事やインターンシップなどありますか？というご質問を受け付けております。So, what kind of career opportunity do you offer to students while students are learning sports journalism course? And do you also have part-time job opportunities or internship work placement?
Yeah, no, some excellent questions there. So we actually offer a specific, or I believe we still offer a specific sports journalism course. However, we don't run it within our particular school, but I'm sure Sunny may be able to sort of point you in the right direction. I know of colleagues who are working on the sports journalism degree, and I'm sure we can kind of put you in touch with the relevant with the relevant people there. In terms of the placements, so then throughout your time with us, you can do this a number of ways. A number of our students will be able to work alongside their study. So we've got a number of clubs, for example, that will get in touch with us and just say, oh, we need a coach, or we need somebody to work on our, as a scout, we need somebody to perhaps work on some performance analysis. And they will just let me know, and we'll kind of distribute that, and then we can match students up who are interested and who are available to be able to do that. We're also closely tied with a number of local clubs as well. So what we're currently doing at the moment is within the process of kind of strengthening those links. So for some students, it might be actually playing for some local sides. So they tend to be sort of non-league, lower league clubs, and you will have the opportunity to perhaps go for trials and see if there's a fit there. But there's also, in terms of just helping run that club as well, there are a number of opportunities that our students are able to take, and those are the sorts of opportunities that you can run alongside your studies. I mentioned right at the start, there's the opportunity to take a placement year whereby you suspend your studies and you work effectively full-time for a football-based organisation. So that could be a club, it could be a national association, it could be an organisation that uses football within the community as well. But you won't then have to worry about your studies, but it's just about you getting lots of really good experience, you being able to bring your skills to that particular organisation or club.
Hello, Atsuko.
Hi.
Please take another question.
Okay. もう一つの質問いきますね。いろいろ質問いただいてるんですけど、今はフットボールのコースの質問を受け付けていて、IELTS のこととか、スポーツサイエンスの方は後からしますので、まずフットボールの方の質問から取らせていただきますね。And how much is the course fee for the football course?
Sunny, would you like to be able to answer that?
Yes, I can help that. Hello everyone. I'm Sunny Deng, the Senior International Officer for Japan. I can answer your question directly here now, and then later on I will deliver some little short presentation about the course setup and entry requirements, includes the fees. So for undergraduate degrees, the 1 year fees is £13,220. So that's for the undergraduates. So for the master course MA, it's £13,260. For the MSc, it's £14,300. So it's a guideline for you. That's the coming September's intake figure. And I can share more information about the universities later after Dr. Francesca's presentation, I think. Okay.
Thank you so much. And the last question. フットボールスタディーズの卒業生は具体的に、どこに就職をしたのか知りたいです。Do you have any examples that alumni actually got a job from?
Yeah, can I introduce that? Luckily today we have our Solent alumni, Mones Nakumura. She spent 4 years study in Solent, and she herself is Japanese. And I think she's doing some football gaming business in Japan, and welcome her to answer the question. And also at the same time, we luckily to have our current student Korea here might be able to give you some backgrounds of the courses. But first of all, let's welcome Monette to share her experience. What did she study at Solent and what she's doing at the moment in Japan? And Monette, you're welcome to speak in Japanese. Our Japanese is okay today, hopefully.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, then shall I speak in Japanese then?
I think so. How about
はい
everyone?、
日本語でお話ししていただけると多分助かると思います。ありがとうございます。
あ、こんにちは。では、お話しさせていただきます。中村萌音と申します。ソレント大学のフットボールビジネス、フットボールスタディーズ&ビジネスっていう学部で4年間勉強してたんですけど、私の場合はあんまりいない例かわかんないんですけど、コナミっていうゲーム会社の方で、ウィニングイレブンっていうサッカーゲームの部署に、配属される予定で、今4月から、次の4月からなので、今は卒業と就職の間の時期におります。在学中のこともお話しした方がいいですかね。
はい、ぜひお願いいたします。
はい、先ほど在学中に、お仕事する機会があるかとかっていうお話もあったので、そういう経験もあるのでお話しさせていただくんですけど、サッカークラブとかサッカー系の会社っていうわけではないんですが、私の場合は、大学の、教授のお手伝いをするっていう機会をいただきまして、その教授は、フットボールのサポーター、観戦客や選手の中で、LGBT だったり、マイノリティの方について、調べ物をしてらして、例えばゲイのフットボーラーとか、そういうサポーターの方がどんなふうに誹謗中傷されたり、ちょっと辛い経験をされたかっていう、リサーチをされていて、それの取材のお手伝いであったり、記事にする際の取材音源を文字起こしさせていただいて、っていうお手伝いをさせていただいて、実際にお給料もいただくっていうアルバイト形式でさせていただいたので、そういった経験も積めるかと思います。で、在学中はそうですね、勉強は4年、例えば今コロナの時期ですけど、4年生の最後の方がちょうどその時期に重なってしまって、卒論を書いてる、だから図書館にも結構通いたい時期ではあったんですが、そういうこともできなくなってしまっていて、ですけど、オンラインで、チューターの方が面談をしてくださったり、文献もオンラインで見れたりして、あんまり支障がなかったので、そういった点も安心していただければなと思います。
ありがとうございます。中村様に何か質問とかがあればメッセージを送ってください。YouTube でも Zoom でも結構です。特になければですね、時間もあれなので、次はスポーツサイエンスについてのコースの説明に移ろうと思うんですけれども、大丈夫ですか？ Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Weber and Ms. Nakamura. Shall we go to the sports science section?
Hi everyone, so I'm Dr. Francesca Gwynn and I run the current sport and exercise science course at Solent University. I'm going to talk to you more kind of, I guess, generally to start with about kind of the topic of sport and exercise science and talk you through what sport and exercise science involves, and then talk about kind of the different job roles that you can go into because there's quite a lot of different ones. So I thought I'd give you a bit of insight into the different areas that you could actually go into after studying sport and exercise science. I also have one of my third year students here with me today, Kira, who's going to also talk during part of the presentation to give her experiences of working within the sport and exercise science industry. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, is that sharing okay with everyone? Perfect, thank you. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a basic definition to start with of what we mean by sport and exercise science. So in the UK, we actually split it into the two different areas. So we have sports science and then exercise science. So sports science is the application of sport and exercise science principles within high performance sport, where the application of science is concerned with maximizing the performance of an athlete or team. So within sports science, we're really focusing on the elite aspects, on maintaining and improving performance. We talk a lot about marginal gains. So just trying to get the edge over our opponents. And it's made up of biomechanics, physiology, and psychology. A big part of both sport and exercise science, though, is that they are interdisciplinary. So when we're working with athletes, whether that's football teams, whether that's rugby teams, cyclists, triathletes, martial artists, whoever it is, when we're working within sports science, we want to look at the whole performance. We want to look at how we can help them to improve, within a physiological perspective, from a psychological perspective, and from a biomechanical perspective. And it's about how all of these different disciplines come together to really support that athletic performance. When we look at exercise science, and apologies, this is quite a long definition, but when we focus on exercise science, it's slightly different. So here we're looking at how sport and exercise science principles within health and fitness, so where the application of science is primarily concerned with the improvement of physical and mental health through exercise. So this could be looking at more general populations, looking at individuals who aren't particularly physically active and looking to see why that is. Why don't people want to do exercise, or how can we motivate people to do exercise? Researching the benefits of exercise, both physically and around our mental health. So we look at how exercise can play a role in preventing poor health and chronic disease, such as coronary heart disease and diabetes, and then also the role of exercise in treating various physiological and psychological disorders. So how can we actually use exercise to improve somebody's state of living? How can we use it to improve their health and their overall mental health? So similar to sport, again, we look at it from this interdisciplinary perspective, in that we want to look at physiology, psychology, and biomechanics, and how all of these areas come together to support exercise and people's mental health. So that is a very quick overview of what we mean by sports science and exercise science. It's a very broad term. So it's important, to gain an understanding as to what we actually mean when we talk about sport and exercise science. It's not just about working with elite athletes, or it's not just about working with the public. But when you study sport and exercise science, you actually get the option to specialize within sports science or within exercise science, because we completely understand that most people prefer to work in one or the other of these areas. I do have a short video. It's only a couple of minutes, and hopefully the subtitles should work, I'm hoping, but if not, then we can adjust that. So let me just see if I can get this to play. That might not be working at all. Oh, maybe. Okay, we should. Okay, bear me one moment, because I did change this just now, so it should. Okay, am I right just to play it, or do you want me to try and write this out? There we go. Unfortunately, when I copied the link, it's obviously not done it. Okay, hopefully this should work now.
Jump higher. It's harder than ever before. Thanks in part to sports and exercise science.
Okay, so that video was actually created in partnership between the Physiological Society, BASES, which is the British Association of Sport and Exercise Sciences, and was actually put together by some of our members of staff at the university, including Professor Adam Hawkey, who is narrating that video. So hopefully that gives another insight into, you know, what sport and exercise science actually involves. Now, as I mentioned just now, it's quite a broad area. And so within sport and exercise science courses, we do cover various other topics such as nutrition. So from a sports perspective, that's about how we can use nutrition to improve performance, or it could be more around you know, eating behaviors and an understanding of actual nutrition for the general public. Strength and conditioning, so looking more about how we can you know, improve things like muscular strength, things like functional movement, making sure people are exercising in the correct way so that they're not actually going to damage you know, their bodies. Performance analysis, soft tissue therapy, also known as sports massage. Exercise referral, so this is working with members of the public and actually helping develop appropriate and safe exercise programs for people. So this could be people who suffer from diabetes, it could be those who have high levels of obesity, or it could be sort of older populations. We also have exercise instructing, so learning how to actually teach particular movements correctly. And another area included is coaching, we find that a lot of sport and exercise students do coaching, alongside their degrees, or some of them have actually gone into coaching as a career. So it is a very broad area, and it does cover a lot of different disciplines. And within the courses, you guys get the opportunity to, pick and choose what it is you want to specialise in. So you can really shape the degree into what you want it to be. Okay, so I mentioned BASES just now, which is the British Association of Sport and Exercise Sciences. This is our governing body. And the reason, I've included them in this is because they're hugely important within UK degrees in sport and exercise science. They will go around universities and other sports facilities to ensure that things like lab facilities are up to a high enough standard for both kind of elite athletes and research to be conducted within. They will also make sure that kind of training facilities, so these are all either labs or training areas within the Solent University, and BASES have accredited these labs to show that they are up to a high enough standard, for the elite performers to come in and do testing and training. Just to talk a bit more then about sort of testing, I've got a few sort of images here to show you different sort of equipment that gets used both within lab-based testing and also some field-based testing. So when studying sport and exercise sciences, you'll come across various different types of equipment. So just in these images, you've got different types of treadmills, you've got different types of bikes, you've got them set up with oxygen masks, being able to analyze kind of gaseous exchange processes that are going on in the body. And you can see, obviously, here we've got different athletes actually working. So as part of the Solent courses, you guys do work directly with athletes. So you can see in one of those pictures there, that's one of our students working, collecting blood samples there. We've also got other equipment that might be used to test things like hamstring strength. This is actually within an academy football player who's come in to look at hamstring strength post-injury, to look to see are there any kind of decreases in the injured leg compared to the non-injured leg. We also have rehab facilities at the university. So this strange looking treadmill is called the Alter G, and basically it can reduce your body weight so that you're running on a treadmill with less stress, less pressure going through your joints. It's really helpful when we've got athletes returning from injury. So if they're, it could be an MCL or an ACL injury, and we're trying to get them back moving, we can do this without putting so much kind of load through their joints. We've also got kind of the bod pod, which tests body mass, and we've got kind of other performance analysis software that our students use when they're out working in placements with various sports teams. So it could be football teams, it could be rugby teams, we've got hockey teams, etc. So there's a lot of emphasis on students working directly with athletes and learning how to use all of this equipment so that you feel confident, when it comes to you guys leaving Solent and actually embarking on your own careers. A few other sort of lab-based testing equipment. I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar with EA games. So if you play FIFA or various other sort of computer games that are out there, these are created by EA Sports, and actually they use the same software that we use within biomechanics. So they use these little reflective markers, which enable us to then use very specific cameras to record those movements. And what we can do is create these 3D models, which allows us to break down somebody's performance. We can look at different kind of angles within the joints. We can look to see how we might improve somebody's technique, either to reduce maybe injury or to enhance their performance. Sorry. And again, this is all equipment and facilities within the university which our students are now capable and confident using. We've also got things like live data collection. So when your athletes are actually engaging in particular exercises, or, we can see here we've got a cyclist training and we can see the live data coming in, which we're then analysing so we can give immediate feedback to our athletes as they're performing. We've got, again, ultrasound and other training and treatment facilities. So part of your kind of experience of working with, whether it's athletes or members of the general public, is about then, training them. So once we've tested them and identified areas we might want to work on with them, it's then about actually treating or training them. Okay, and lastly then looking at more kind of field-based testing that our students get involved with. So here we can see we've got some students out on placements doing data collection with Swindon Town Football Club. We've also got kind of networking opportunities for students. So a big part of you guys working in placements, and this is part of the degree, as well as there's an opportunity to do a placement year. But a big part of that is for you guys to network and to meet other people within the industry who will help to, further your career and help you to progress within the industry. Here we've got some PA taking place, so performance analysis, and some biomechanical research that's going on looking at diving. So we really encourage everyone to try and get as much experience, using the equipment, working within the real industry so that you feel comfortable and confident, when you actually graduate. Okay, I'm now going to pass over to Kira, who's going to talk you through her experience that she's gained whilst studying on the course.
So hi everyone, I'm Kira, and I'm a third year at Solent University studying sport and exercise science. So firstly, I'll go through my sort of experience at Swindon Town, where I was a strength and conditioning coach for the under-16s. And Swindon Town Academy is a Category 3 football academy, and that basically is dependent on funding, facilities and staffing that they have available to them. So one of the roles that I kind of had was to carry out tested associated with maturation. And maturation is kind of the development process between sort of being a child and being an adult. And within that, if you're trying to increase someone's strength going through that period of time, you can really sort of injure them if you try and give them weights in the gym when they're trying to grow. So it's kind of just getting that process right, but you have to do that through testing and sort of a lot of research with that as well. And then we have sort of testing for development as well. So as Francesca mentioned, it's sort of testing to test your sort of lower body strength, for example, which can help you within your performance as well. So you kind of get that out in big reports, and then we have to take that and change that into a training program to get them to get those marginal gains to make them do better in their performance. So they kind of have to align with how the players need to develop, but also with sort of the academy focus for that week. So we got given an overview of kind of what we need to target each week. We have to go away, plan those sessions, and then deliver those sessions. So we only have 50 minutes to do that. So you kind of have to take what you learn and what you research and what you learn at university, sort of condense that down to a group of players that haven't ever learned it before, but they want to try and improve their performance. So you kind of need to sort of flip the process in how you're going to deliver that and make it understandable for all the players. And again, like you have to do lots and lots of research as well, which is really helpful when trying to study your degree, and then also trying to translate that into your real world delivery as well. And obviously with technology always changing and access to information always changing, you always have to keep on top of what is right to do in that situation. So moving on to psychology, so that's kind of more sort of intertwined into our studies and through our psychology modules, and there are in other modules as well, but specifically in psychology, we had to make a mental skills workbook, and I used one of the players that I had at Swindon Town. And we basically had to profile them to do interviews and a performance profile. A performance profile is where you get a player to rank sort of what they think is important in their performance. And then we have to identify some weaknesses and then create a workbook to help them tackle that weakness. And so part of the workbook, you have to sort of educate them on what that is and educate them how to sort of overcome that weakness, and then give them activities to then be able to take what they've learned to put back into their performance to help them to improve. So that was in my second year. Then this year, obviously with everything moving more virtually, we had to do pretty much the same process, but we also got to deliver it to our athlete. And the athlete that I used had played for Watford Football Club and for Hounslow Women. So she was an elite female football player. So that was kind of more of the elite side. And then onto the participation bit. One of my lecturers once asked us sort of what is sports science and what are the aims of sports science. And apart from the obvious, wanted to sort of improve performance but reduce the risk of injury. One of them was to increase participation to sort of reduce those risks associated with inactivity of participation. So I reached out to Hampshire Cricket, who run a Wickets programme. And that was to basically introduce young people around low-income areas of Southampton to get them involved into playing cricket where they may not have had access to it before, and to sort of get them out of the house a little bit and into something positive. So the aims was to increase participation and to increase their interest, to get more people involved, but also to increase social togetherness and to promote healthier living. So yeah, one of the things you do learn on placements is to sort of take all of your studying and how to put that into the real world. So I think that's a very important skill that you need to learn no matter what career path you go into. But yeah, that's it from me. I'll hand you over to Francesca.
Okay, thanks, Kira. Okay, my next few slides I'm going to whiz through quite quickly, just because I know we've got to be careful with time. But the next sort of focus here is about the potential careers that you can go into off the back of studying sport and exercise science, as a course. So we break this down into three sort of different areas. You've got the elite sport and performance aspect. We've got clinical exercise, health and fitness, which is more around, the general public, and then research, teaching, coaching, and sports development. So I won't go through every single one of these because you can see them on the screen. But you can see within elite sport and performance, there are a range of different job roles that you can go into, ranging from sports nutritionist, sport and exercise psychologist, physiologist, strength and conditioning coach, performance analysis. So there's different roles that you can go into which are more specifically aimed at the sport, so elite sport and performance aspect. However, if you're more interested in sort of the clinical exercise and general health and fitness, then again, there's multiple different roles you can go into, such as health promotion specialist. You might become a specialist fitness instructor, so working with a particular population or group of people. You can become a clinical exercise physiologist, clinical cardiac physiologist. Again, there's so many different roles that you can go into. And then the last area, looking more at kind of research, teaching, coaching, and sports development. So you could do what Kira was talking about there of looking to increase participation. It might be within a particular sport or within a particular kind of group of people. It might be that you become a sports coach, whether that's at participation or the elite level. Quite a few of our students go on to become teachers, but we also have quite a lot of our students who then go on to sort of further study, becoming researchers and actually lecturers. So there's quite a few now members of staff who I remember teaching sort of seven years ago on their undergrad studies, who are now actual full-time academics teaching alongside me. So I think within sport and exercise science, it's clear that there's a huge range of different roles that you can go into. So the last thing I was going to mention is that if you want to find out more about sport and exercise science, BASES are every year they hold a student conference. And this year that conference is free to attend to everybody. So it's a free online event run from the 7th to the 8th of April. And it's actually being organised this year by Solent University. You can see on the screen a few examples of some of the speakers, but there's about something like 30 to 40 different speakers from different backgrounds, looking at different areas and topics. But it's a fantastic event, and it's a really good opportunity for you to find out more about sport and exercise science and the kind of roles you can end up in, but also the sort of areas that you could go in to study further. So as I said, free event. Really recommend that anyone who's got any interest in sport and exercise, you log on, you attend. The website is at the bottom of that slide, and you can also follow it on Twitter. So for more updates or anything like that, have a look at BASES 2021. And that is everything from myself and Kira. If you've got any questions, obviously, please feel free to ask us. But thank you for listening and giving up your time this morning. So over to you if you've got any questions.
Thank you so much. Actually, we have one question. How many years of work experience do I need to join sports science and performance coaching MSc?
So for the MSc, it actually depends on your undergraduate study. So you need to complete a BSc study first, BSc course first. I know that in the past they have taken on some students who have a lot of industry experience, but it's done on sort of a one-to-one basis. So the best thing to do is have a conversation with the course leader for the MSc, and they'd be able to talk you through whether you need to complete an undergraduate or whether they think you have enough experience, from coaching at elite levels or working at elite levels that would allow you to go straight on to the MSc.
Thank you so much. 他に何かスポーツサイエンスに関する質問がある方はチャットボックスに入れてください。特になければですね、時間もあれなので次に移動したいと思います。Thank you, Francesca and Kira.
No problem.
Sunny, would you like to give your presentation about Solent University overall?
Yes, I would like to. And how many minutes we got? Do you want me to do a quick one or a short one?
It doesn't really matter, but quick one is better, I guess.
Yeah, okay. I'll just get a quick one. Yes. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Sorry, could you quickly give me the tech help to share screen? Is it? Okay. I found it. Okay. Yeah, got it. Okay, hello everyone. I'm Sunny Deng. I'm the Senior International Officer for Japan. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's great. And myself was an international student come to UK study. So I can talk about the university in general and talk about UK in general from the perspective of students' view. And feel free to ask me any questions after the few slides. And Solent University is the modern university in the UK, and we are proud to be shortlisted for the University of the Year in 2019. And this is a prestigious award. It's like an Oscar winning in higher education sectors, and we are nominated by the University of the Year in 2019. And we are very creative and career focused, and all the images you see here are our university's shiny facilities, and we have great industry links. And our alumni works in different aspects, different industries. For example, we got entrepreneurs, designers, singers, and we got some Olympic gold medalists studied with us. For example, Li Jiaxu, the middle one, she's our Asia's first Olympic gold medalist in laser sailing, and she did her master's in sport journalism and broadcast at Solent. And she enjoyed study very much, and now she's the freelancer for sports journalist. Yeah, so she's our great examples. And our sports and football studies are one of our strongest subjects at Solent. Our graduates works over half of the Premier League football clubs in the UK. And in general, we are the career-focused university that our ranking, wow, Solent was ranked as the 12th best British universities for boosting graduate earnings. And I guess that part of it is contributed by the sports science and football studies alumni. They got very good earnings. Okay, and Solent located at the heart of Southampton, where is London's outer port. We just over 1 hour direct train to London city centre, just 1 hour, 10 minutes fast train to London city centre, very close. And we are by the sea. We are the cruise capital of Europe, and we got the best weather in the UK. I spent a decade in Wales. the weather there is not so good as Southampton's. So I couldn't change the weather. I changed my name to Sunny. Wow, that's just a joke. But when I joined Solent, the weather becomes much nicer. It got the best weather in the UK, sunniest place. And also it is the home to Southampton football clubs. So you can enjoy watching the Premier Leagues. There are lots of, because Southampton is in the Premier League. So there's opportunities for you to just stay in Southampton and watch the games from the top players. And that's also part of your studies, I believe, if you do football or sports science. And around Solent, we got fantastic places to visit, like Stonehenge, Winchester, London, Oxford, Isle of Wight, Brighton, Portsmouth. That's all around Southampton. And that's the city map. And Solent is just right in the city center, in the heart of the city. And in the image, the left-hand side is the stadium, and that's the home to Southampton football clubs. So it's about 15 minutes walk to the campus. So very close, very convenient for the studies if you do football or sports science. Okay, so here are the diagrams for the entry requirement for Japanese students. So English requirements, undergraduates, we need 6.0 overall IELTS, sub-score 5.5 for the undergraduate course. And for the postgraduates, normally we require IELTS 6.5 overall and sub-score 5.5, but depends on the courses. So better check on the course website to see the exact details for the English requirements. For the academic requirements, bachelor's degree for Japanese students, we need either diploma, 3 or good, or associate degree or IB score list there. And for master's level, we require you have a bachelor's degree from Japanese university, about 60 to 65%, or a C grade to enter our master's classes. But if you have about 2 years or above professional experience, we can also consider your work experience, relevant work experience for the master's entry. Okay, right, how to apply? For the undergraduate course, you can apply via UCAS or via SIUK. They can help you for applying the course directly to us. For the master's class, master courses, again, you can go to our website to apply directly, or SIUK. I'm sure they're happy to help you for the applications. And here are the supporting documents from you when you submit online applications. Most important things are the transcripts and your certificate and English. Okay, so again, SIUK can advise you the steps and the documents. Here are the finance for the studies. So for the undergraduate courses, last year's tuition fees is about £13,000. For the master courses, if MA is £13,000, for MSc is 14,000, around this range. And living expenses is between £7,000 to £10,000, depends on your lifestyle. So altogether, 1 year study and live at Solent, it's about £20,000 to £25,000 most spent at Solent. And in fact, Solent University was ranked as the 7th most affordable UK universities for international students. So we are very cost effective. And we also very convenient because we're so close to London. So there's lots of working work placement opportunities, or the job opportunity is quite a lot because we're just outside London, and we enjoy day trip to London, it's possible to travel in a day. So it's so convenient, the location, but we don't have to spend lots of like living in London. We just 1/3 of the cost compared to London. Okay, and there are scholarship opportunities for students. So for undergraduate students, they are from £1,000 to £15,000. If you just meet the entry requirement and take over a little bit of it, you'll be eligible for different range of scholarships. And if you continue your undergraduate studies at Solent after you complete the bachelor degree at Solent, there are opportunities for you to get an alumni scholarship, which is from 20% to 50% tuition fees discounts. If you just graduate as second class lower divisions, you are eligible for 20% discounts. And if you are graduate as first class, then you just have to pay half of the tuition fees for your master's studies. Okay, so that's the information from me, and the last slides I include the ranking of the universities here. And any questions, I'm happy to answer. Okay.
Thank you, Sunny. Actually, we have a couple of questions about Solent University.
Okay.
Right. YouTube から大変お待たせしてしまって申し訳ないんですけど、2つ質問いただいてたのをご紹介しますね。まず、日本人留学生対象の奨学金はありますかというご質問いただいております。Sunny, do you have scholarship that Japanese students can apply at the moment?
Yes, we do have the scholarship that's available for international students. So I can go back to the my screen if that's okay. I can share the scholarship information for you. Okay, I think that's the one. Can you see it? The scholarship page. Yes, so it depends on what level you apply the courses. For example, if you apply the master's degree at Solent and you just graduated from a Japanese university, if you have 65% GPA or 2.8 GPA, you are eligible for £1,500 scholarship. And if you got 70% or GPA 3.2, you're eligible for the £2,000 scholarship. And these scholarships are automatic. If you meet the standard, our admissions will award the scholarship to you automatically. But because it's limited funded, so we do that as based on first come, first served basis. So it can be run out. So I suggest if you want to secure the scholarship, you just submit the application as soon as you're ready. And you don't have to wait for all your supporting documents ready. You can just submit what you have. For example, you don't have the IELTS yet, you can submit the transcripts you have, and then you might receive the conditional offer based on achieving the IELTS, so that you can secure the place at Solent. And once you meet the IELTS requirements, just upload the documents. So that, yeah, as I say, apply it, secure the place, secure the scholarship. Okay, so hopefully that answered the question.
Thank you. 次の質問ですけれども、学士課程のコース出願には IELTS スコアはどれくらい必要ですかというご質問ですね。Sunny, I think you already explained, but could you please teach us what IELTS score do you require for UG courses again?
UG courses, yes, it's there. Can you see my screen sharing?
It says facts and figures.
Facts and figures, okay. How about now? How about now? Is it changing to the
Mm,
requirements?
it still says facts and figures.
Ah, okay.
It's the only
You might need to stop sharing and then reshare the
Okay.
window, because if you're sharing your PowerPoint, it will only show you that.
Ah, I see. Try it. Does it change? Sorry, guys. Yeah, sorry about that. I just talk through. So for undergraduate, requirement of English is IELTS 6.0, subscores 5.5. So that's the entry requirement. However, if you miss the points a little bit, we got a pre-sessional English class for you to bridge the level to the main class. So the pre-sessional classes, the lowest requirement is 1.5 score lower than the entry requirements. For example, IELTS 6.0 is the entry requirement directly to the course. But if you achieve 4.5, you can take 15 weeks pre-sessional English class to be able to join the main class. And then we got 5.0's pre-sessional class, so that's 10 weeks. And also 5.5 IELTS, that's 5 weeks pre-sessional class. Okay, yeah, I just managed to stop sharing, but I can come back to the chart again. Maybe that's more clear. Can you see the chart?
Yes.
Oops, sorry. That's the one. Okay, so you can see 6.0 is the direct entry, but we also accept 5.5. Lowest one is 4.5, and they got different length of pre-sessional English class to go on to, and similar to master classes. So is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
他に何か質問はありますか？もしなければ、今日はこれで終わりにしようと思うんですけれども、大丈夫そうですね。はい。では、これで締め切りさせていただきたいと思います。今日は皆さんお忙しいところ、セミナーにご参加くださりありがとうございました。That's all for today, everyone. Thank you, Team Solent, for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you, everyone. It's
Thank
amazing.
you.
Thank you, Monette and Kira and Francesca and SIUK.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
はい、
Bye.
大学に
Thank
そう
you.
いうご連絡ください。
はい
ありがとうございました。
はい。
バイ。